Welcome back. Now joining us is Sandy Pulaski. Sandy grew up with Pope John Paul II in Poland, and she's here to offer us some inside information. Sandy, could you tell us a little bit about Pope John Paul II as a boy?
Oh, of course. You all know him as Pope John Paul II, but to me, he will always be Carol. Oh, he was just the sweetest boy. He was so sweet. And he was smart. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you how many kids he tutored. Oh my, it was oh my goodness. Me and him are only 2 days apart, so we were really close.
So your birthday is May 20th?
Yes, May 20th, 1920. I know, I'm so old. Oh, I age well, don't I?
You do. You look very well for
Thank you. But yes, me and Carol were very close, and he would, if I ever needed help in any of my schoolwork, he was always there to help me. And he was so athletic.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
gosh. He played many sports.
Yeah, he did. Oh my gosh, you should have seen him catch and throw a ball. It was out of this world. He was probably the best baseball player. Oh, that's so weird to say the Pope was a great baseball player. But I knew him when he was the best at everything he did. And he was so sweet. He was sweet to the young ones, to the kids in his grade, to the old people. Oh, he was just so sweet.
Did you ever predict or suspect that he would join the seminary?
I mean, in our time, it was common of all the boys his age to go into the priesthood. It was expected of most of them. When he first started school, that wasn't his first choice. He got into theater. But, I think everyone pretty much saw it coming,
He had personality.
He had the personality, and it was hard for him growing up, He didn't have a mother or a brother. His mother and his older brother passed away when he was young. He had a dad for a little while longer, but he passed too when he was about 20. But, it was hard for him, so he had to find his calling on his own, and I think he did very well. I think he was the best priest that he could be.
Yeah.
He took all the necessary steps.
And he was bishop and archbishop before becoming pope, right?
Yes, he was.
So he had them all.
He went through all the steps, went through all of them. He was bishop, and then he was archbishop of where we were from. That was, that was exciting to us, little Carol from the block, He was like a celebrity. Because, most boys join the priesthood, but,
don't go very far.
It's not common for them to go as far as he did, and then he became cardinal, and that was crazy. And, once he was elected pope, oh my goodness.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
That was amazing. I was so proud of him. Oh, I could not be prouder of my Carol. To see him grow up and to see him blossom into this wonderful person, And I think he is the best pope for the job, He was so peaceful. as a boy. Can I, she told me about this book that you guys had here. Can I tell you, it is my favorite
Yes.
book that he wrote.
Do you have a certain quote that you?
I do. I do.
Please share.
I will share it for you. It's we are pilgrims of pilgrim of faith. I'm sorry, I'm getting old and senior. I'll read you the quote. Freedom consists not in doing what we like, but in doing what we ought.
And that's one of his most famous quotes.
That's Carol. That's Carol. He was always, so peaceful. That was his main teaching as a pope, is peace and responsibility. And
he was a great speaker.
He was great. He was the best speaker. He could get up in front of audiences of hundreds of thousands and not even blink an eye. As a pope, I know. It's crazy, right? I can barely do this.
Yeah.
This is insane. And he did this all the time, He did, sermons at the Vatican. There's millions of people that go to the Vatican. And, he was just the best. He was the best.
It says here that he made history on many occasions. Can you tell us about that?
Oh my gosh. He did more in his reign than any pope could even think of. He set the standards very, very high. He was the first non-Italian pope in nearly 400 years.
That's big.
That was a big deal.
Step for the church.
Big deal. Especially Vatican City. They're all Italian, and 400 days. He was the longest reigning pope, 26 years. And that was the best 26 years the church has ever seen.
You're not biased or anything.
No, please. I love all the popes, but my Carol, he was the best. He was the best, And I don't think many would disagree with me.
No.
And he, speaking of, his teachings of peace and responsibility, he traveled non-stop.
I think he traveled the most.
He did.
Out of all the popes.
I think it was 120 countries, and each one, it was special to him, He left his mark,
He was very culturally advanced.
Yeah, 7 languages he spoke.
7 languages. He was fluent in 7 languages.
He was just so welcome. And everywhere he went, people loved him. And what he said really, it really got to people. You go and you relate to people and you speak about peace and responsibility. People listen. The way he spoke to people, they understood him.
Right. Can I ask you about the day, May 18th, 1981?
I forget where I was.
It's not good.
It was a sad day. I was with my family. It was a family day. My old age meant a lot of those. And, we were all just in the living room in the house, and we turned the TV on, and the most devastating news that could have ever happened. I couldn't believe my Carol had been shot. It was devastating. It was heartbreaking, Like, he was liked by everyone. And to hear that someone hated him so much, to shoot him, to try and attack him, it was heartbreaking. You know, he was such a peaceful man, didn't want to harm a soul. Wouldn't hurt a fly. And to hear that someone had so much hate built up towards him, in his own city, in Vatican City.
For all of you viewers who don't know, he was shot 2 times by a man while he was traveling around in St. Peter's Basilica. And it was a very sad day for all of us, for the church.
I will never forget that day.
It's said that Pope John Paul went and visited the man who shot him in his jail cell, and and talked to him and told him that he forgave him for everything that he did. And it tells a lot about what kind of person he was.
That is Carol. That is just like Carol. You know, someone could be so hateful to him, to shoot him, and he would be the man to go to him.
And forgive him.
And it was 4 days later, 4 days after. You know, that takes a peaceful person, and such a spiritual and kind-hearted person to forgive someone for doing that, and that proves in that one example that he was the most peaceful person.
And if I was told correctly, the man who shot him, he actually had a conversion, and he ended up writing Pope John Paul II and, apologizing and wishing him well on many occasions, and they became, frequent writers back and forth. Very friendly to each other afterwards.
It's not unlike Carol. He was the sweetest, and he gets to people. He makes you want to follow him. He is a natural born leader. There's not many people like that, And he was very young when he got elected. He was in his 50s.
Yeah, 58, I think.
Yeah, he was young. That's not likely of popes.
Right.
So people knew that he was special. He was a special man.
Well, we thank you, Sandy, for joining us
It was
today.
very nice to be here.
It was a
Thank you for
very nice
having me.
interview, and she joins us all the way from Poland. Thank you, and we will be back after these messages.